time and resources to invest into it, there's nothing that'll give you as much volume as this. And that's important over a course of a year or 5 years or 10 years. And that's the time frame that you have to think when you're thinking about winning a world championships. You have to think, I'm going to win a world championships in 5 years. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to do more work than everybody else. And the way to do more work is to do less work, more often, more precisely.
Even if you don't have the time for training 3 days,
right.
3 times a day,
sure.
you would still stick to the same system.
It's very important to be flexible, okay? Armed with the information that I have now, if I was to have a regular job, I would try and find a way that I was able to. The thing is, the way you have to think about it is the body has memory, okay? But the memory isn't all that good, okay? And it needs constant reminder, constant reminder. And if you can remind it 3 times in a day, 4 times in a day, hey, remember, you want to be an arm wrestling world champion. After lunch, hey, remember, we're still trying to do this. After supper, hey. So there's maybe a way, even with a full-time job, that you can set it up so that you just continually remind yourself all throughout the day. And I think that this consistency is what's important.
I think what's very important, what you say was the wave, and that you, for example, you add weight, but after that you want to balance and you have a little bit
because you will make mistakes.
But do you think that Devon will keep growing forever like this, or that he will also need some weight and balance?
Yeah. Everybody is different, okay? I'm a big fan of Devon. I think Devon is an amazing.
Since 2 years he's getting.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. If Devon wants to just hit Everest and then that's it, maybe that's everything. But if Devon wants to live in arm wrestling and make his home in it, then I think he will have to. I don't think it's possible to just keep going.
We have a very successful athletic team in Belgium. They are 3rd place in the world in the relay race, and I think they have a very skilled preparation, and their goal is World Championship. So they have kind of recuperation phase, and then they go up the level to be at top shape on that week of the competition.
Right.
And I think that the big champions just make that kind of phase in training in function of the goal you have.
Yeah, totally. Everything's a wave, guys. Everything. Doesn't matter what it is. If you can figure that wave out, if you can see it, it's going to help you. It's going to help you.
But we're going back to that 10-day block training, and we all most of us are doing
Yeah.
only a couple of years, not like you. Should we still do it, like 10-day blocks without arm-wrestling at the table? What do you think is like a prioritization before the competition? We should do like 4 weeks, 5 weeks before?
I think that so long as you have your goal in mind, you're probably going to be able to answer that even better than I am going to be able to. Okay? Table time is really important. Okay? Table training, sport training is really hard to balance into a strength training program. Very, very difficult. Okay? I've been arm wrestling a very long time, and my tendons are pretty conditioned to table work. Okay? So I'm able to be on the gym now on days that I do my table training and the following day. But I do remember that it wasn't always like that. I get it. Okay? I think it should be something that you strive for, because I do think, again, it's the way you get the most volume possible. But the reality is sometimes your tendons can't handle it. They just can't. Like sometimes after a hard table session, the tendons just can't do it, right? That first of all is an indication that you might need to adjust your table training, okay? If you can't do it, that's probably an indication that you might be doing something wrong. You might be pulling in bad form. We haven't talked a lot about table training. We've talked a lot about getting stronger, which is super important. But table training is see, Florian, inside arm wrestling, outside arm wrestling. Yeah.
I just use your picture as an alibi for my wife.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
See you guys. Thank you. What was table training?
Table training and
Right.
strength training.
Okay. We've talked a lot about strength training, table training. Super, super important. You need to train on a table, and you need to have the stronger person hold and the weaker person work. This is the most important way to make your whole team get stronger. Okay? If all you care about is you, which is not probably a good strategy, and you go around whacking people, you're probably going to be fine. But anytime anybody is losing on an arm wrestling table, it's probably in bad form. And it's probably going to hurt. And it's probably going to cause a whole lot of inflammation in your arm. Okay?
How do you think about going like 2 or 3 times a week at the table and doing rehab after the table training?
Yeah.
And just like that.
I think that's great. I think that this is a fine way to train, and I think you're going to become a very good arm wrestler training that way. I've done this system for a long time, okay?
Before you were like stuck.
Yeah, and that's a tough question, okay? Look, I think when one of the best way to get good when you first start is to really become a great arm wrestler, okay? And that's just going to take you being on the table with a good team, okay? I talk a lot about strength right now because that's where I'm at in my phase, okay? I'm in a place now where I can arm wrestle really good, okay? What's missing for me is that top end horsepower. But at the beginning, that technical expertise is going to go so far. And yeah, you're going to benefit a ton from good table practice with good people, doing different pressures, different moves, getting comfortable everywhere, having fun, playing games, and then getting healthy so you can do it again. And you'll go far that way. You'll go very, very far. I mean, a long way. But there's going to come a point when you can do everything perfect, but you just need to be a little bit stronger. And then this block training can take you to another level, okay? But, I mean, I've run exactly the system that you're talking about. I've run it for years of my life with great benefit. So it's great.
What's your John Zink? Does he do
Now I'll tell you, I don't always believe what John Brzezinski says. I don't always believe it. I know he's...
Nobody believes it. If you not...
I don't really believe everything that John Brzezinski has said about his. I don't believe that he's trained 1 time a week and just I just don't.
But he did many
He did many what?
competitions, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He did a lot of competitions. Yeah. Look, there's a ton of strategies that work. There's a lot of strategies that work, and the most important thing is that you believe in your strategy. And if you're making gains, well, your strategy is working, okay? And I have run a lot. I've run a lot of different strategies. I've done, throughout the course of my career, I've done exclusive table training for months at a time. I've done training where I've only done cup, and that's it, for months at a time. I've done full body. I've done CrossFit. I've done, you name it, I've basically tried it. They all can have benefit.
And what do you think about Michael Todd's training, and would you ever try it?
Michael Todd's training, in my opinion, from what I see on YouTube, is geared primarily heavily towards supermatch style arm wrestling. Now, I also think it's geared heavily towards King's Move style arm wrestling. And what that means is, so Michael Todd is very much a specialist. King's Move specialist, endurance specialist, and 3 out of 5 specialist. Okay, so supermatch. So that's what he's really good at. So everything is a circuit. I don't think it's accurate myself. I believe that you just, whatever you do, you get better. I feel like this is a golden rule for all life. Whatever you do, you get better at. So you should just try and replicate whatever you believe you're gonna have to do as closely as possible. And I don't believe doing a 7-minute or 8-minute circuit is anything that the match ever looks like. I mean, I know that he's had some ridiculously long matches, so maybe that's, but I don't think that that's what it should look like.
But the thing is, he's not sweating like other guys, and it will be interesting when you fight that thing to make him sweat.
It'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting because he believes he's right and I believe I'm right. So we'll see. I think that superior strength is what's really important. That's what I believe. My training looks more like strength training. His looks more like circuit training. I've done the circuit training stuff. I've done it. I've faced people that's made me realize that when done correctly, endurance isn't going to matter. You know, if you have the strength to put somebody in a disadvantaged position, they're going to be so inefficient that it doesn't matter how conditioned they are, it's not going to work. So I don't think there's any way around strength in this sport.
I had one question about your whole career. You haven't been competing much in Slaughter Tour or any double elimination competitions. Was it because you realized that you're better in super matches, or why is your career more focused on super matches than on double elimination like WAF? I know you have been competing in WAF.
Long ago.
Yeah.
Long ago.
Why did you stop going to Zloty or?
Well, I never actually went to Zloty, ever.
I mean, why did you stop going to those kind of competitions?
Why did I stop going to WAF? Why did I?
I mean, why did you stop going on competitions that have a tournament style?
Well, I did WAL when that was a tournament style. The way that I try and live my life is in everything I'm looking to try and make the biggest and best future possible. Okay, in every one of my choices. When I think about what's next, I want it to be something that I want to do, and there's a lot of things that make something great. Okay. Now, go back to WAF. I was pulling WAF in like 99 and 2000. This is when I was in the regular forces. Okay. Regular forces sponsored me. They said, Devon, you want to go and compete at the Worlds? Guess what? We'll buy your plane ticket. We'll get your hotel. We'll put you on temporary duty, so we'll pay for your food when you go. Have a good time. I was like, right on. I'm all about it. Fantastic. Okay. Then I went special forces, and they're like, yeah, you're not gonna get paid to go. We're not gonna pay for your plane tickets. If you want to go on arm wrestle, do it on the weekends. You know, whatever. Take care of yourself. So I didn't want it to be a financial burden on my family, ever. So I never wanted arm wrestling to cost me money. So right away, Canada doesn't recognize arm wrestling as a sport. So for me, WAF was out. There was no financial way that WAF made sense for me outside of some very obscure way that I could maybe shift things. Okay, so right away I started only pulling things that made me money. Okay, so if it was a pro tournament, Mike Gould Classic, super match, where there was money on the line, that was great for me. I could go, it wouldn't cost my family anything. This was great. I also thought that one-on-one arm wrestling, I had a goal of becoming the best arm wrestler in the world, and I knew that that when you beat somebody one-on-one, there are far less excuses and far less factors. And I thought it was the most black and white way of achieving that goal. Once I kind of got there, I just looked at what was the very best option. What was the thing that could get me the best deal, the best possible thing. Most of the time, it's been super matches.
See you later.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you. It's been super matches. But when WAL switched to tournaments and they were paying $20,000 for first prize, it was tournaments. So whatever I think is the highest prize in arm wrestling, that's where you'll see me if I'm able to do it. Zloty for me never quite met the criteria. There was always better things by doing one-on-one arm wrestling at the time, I thought.
Do you know any about the money in the top 8 involved?
Yeah.
How much money is involved there?
Top 8's good. Top 8 is really good. So I don't know how much they're being compensated for things like travel, for things like the tournaments leading up to the top 8. I imagine that they're being taken care of quite nicely. PEL and Igor are fantastic. But the top prize, I believe, is $50,000 US on top of everything else they've already gotten. So that's a great prize. But believe me, WAL is very nice also. Like, you can make a lot of money pulling in WAL. And I think that that's going to be really the ultimate factor in which league ultimately has the most success. Which athletes are getting paid the most, which league is getting the most revenue from pay-per-view, which is getting the most views. These are all factors. But for me, WAL has been my choice. Yeah.
Can you talk about numbers? Is it allowed?
So everybody's contract is a little bit different. I can't really talk about my contract, but I mean, it allows me to be a professional full-time arm wrestler and feed a family. So.
What does a contract look like? Are you like for the whole season?
It looks different for every athlete, I believe. I don't know.
Matches in the season?
Those may or may not be stipulated depending on what your contract looks like. The contracts for some people are one time, show up, compete, that's it, good doing business with you, we pay you this much, we're done. For other athletes, it may be a 3-year term. It may be a 7-year term. It may, depending on who you are. Yeah.
Are the numbers going up every year?
Every year the WAL is going up, okay? It's really, I'm a huge fan of all things WAL. I think we've had great success. I think the vision is really good. I think that we are taking good risks and we're pushing things forward. Having talked a lot to the team at WAL over the years, I personally love their vision, and I think that it's my hope that it is going to be the home of global arm wrestling over the course of the future. And yeah, we'll see. I hope that all the leagues succeed. I hope that PAL continues to grow. I hope that everybody just keeps on pushing. But the way I see the future is WAL will have great success. Yeah.
What about left?
Left, yeah. Well, we just broke the ice, didn't we? Yeah, it's on now, right?
How is it going next year?
Nobody knows. Nobody ever knows. But I would imagine, if I could imagine what next year looks like, it looks like more events. It looks like more athletes. It looks like I would assume that you will see left and right-handed matches. And I would assume that you are going to see more growth outside of just the main league. So we have the Buffalo Wild Wings series, which I think will continue to grow. And I think that there will be other series that are entered as well, like other feeder systems, other shows. And I think that we'll get some other media involved, which will be amazing.
You've been the world champion left-handed and right-handed. Was that the best feeling you ever had?
That was probably the pinnacle of my arm wrestling career. When I beat Pushkar that day, at that time I was ranked #1 right and left. For me, I think that's the best thing that I've ever achieved. But yeah, I mean, I just really now and throughout the whole thing, I mean, I was lucky to have done it. But
did anyone ever did it?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think that Pushkar might have done it for a bit. I think that Dennis probably did it. I think that Levon might have it right now.
No, he doesn't.
Who's got it left-handed? Who's ranked number 1 left-handed?
I think left-handed it is actually.
Yeah, I think Levon's got it right now.
But I don't think he's right.
Well, who is it if it's not Levon? I think it's Levon.
I know he's not. He's left and right.
I think he is.
He's left and right.
I think so. And that would make sense to me. Oh, unless it's Dennis. But I think everybody knows that Dennis is sick.
I think Dennis will get removed from the rankings
Soon.
in like a few months.
So I think I kind of broke the ice on it, and now everybody does it. Yeah. Yeah, now everybody does it. Yeah.
So what about your future?
Yeah.
How long do you see competing yourself?
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, you know, I became like kind of a full-time arm wrestler in 2015-ish. And it's been interesting, you know, this transition to making it more full-time. I think I can do it a long time. I don't know. I mean, I think so long as I keep on enjoying it, which I do. I really do enjoy it. I have a lot of fun arm wrestling. It's a very simple life, but it has a lot of rewards. And I don't think that there's anything that will stop me from competing at a high level. I don't think so. I think I should be healthy for a long time. I want to not only keep competitive arm wrestling, which I will do as long as I can. I want to keep on working within our sport to try and grow it, to try and do things with it, just so it's better for everybody. We're doing some projects with some apps, and I want to do. There's some ideas that I have that go a little bit outside of competition that I want to do with our sport. They're just a lot of fun. I'm in no rush to leave. Yeah. There's a lot of things you can still do in this sport that people haven't done.
If we are already talking about the future, how about we talk a little bit about your baby, Freedom Arm Wrestling?
Yeah.
While we're at it,
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting subject.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please,
Yeah.
Please tell us a little bit about that, because when we were talking about this yesterday, I think you had a lot of interesting points.
I'm glad you brought that up. So, arm wrestling, there's a lot of different types of arm wrestling. I feel like on the far side, you've got WAF, PAL, you know, WAL is kind of more crazy and wild. You guys, I don't know if you follow Arm Sumo. It's even more open. It's not so crazy, but it's a more open sport. And then, to me, we've got Freedom. Okay, Freedom is an idea that I've put together just from trying to find the best parts of arm wrestling that I've enjoyed over the years, and to express it as an arm wrestling sport on the table. It's what I am going to keep on pushing forward. The reason I love it is I really don't like arm wrestling tables. Just because I just think they're so unnatural. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool to have, but when you are like so involved in arm wrestling and you have a house, you realize that this arm wrestling table is kind of a pain in the butt. Like, people put their jackets on it, people, like, this ends up being a table very quickly. And it's just very consistent. So why not just have a table? And you can arm wrestle on a table. You really don't need all this stuff. Arm Sumo's proved that. And you don't need any specific dimensions. You can arm wrestle anywhere.